So, just a quick channel update, which I will get to towards the end of this short video. But on the video I just shared yesterday on the Star Child skull from Lloyd Pye, there were a few comments I will address here. And look, I have never shown anybody's comments across my channel before. I don't like seeing it done, but in this one I will address a couple for a change. Now, just because I share some of Lloyd Pye's work on his Star Child project, just because the guy has been indoctrinated most of his life into the evolution process and he believes some of it, yeah, we all know that's garbage. And he even mentioned the space program. In fact, I'll play it.
Also, every astronaut who has spent more than a month in space acquired small but measurable reductions in the depth of their eye sockets.
Don't worry, I won't be doing this ever again, I don't think. But yes, we can pick apart just about everything that someone says on a video. You can always find something that you don't agree with, but comments like this from this guy are not helpful whatsoever. Now, I've never seen your profile before. Yeah, you're not banned or anything, but that's a ridiculous comment because it doesn't even line up to what I was saying in my own video, for God's sake. Now, this commenter here has mentioned something because the video was really meant to be about the skull itself not even being real due to the fibres that's running through the entire bones matrix. It almost made me think that the thing had been made in a lab somehow. But due to me not looking into any of Lloyd's work for years now, after spending a further hour looking at his work, I then came to the conclusion that it is indeed a real skull. Secondly, I mentioned the story of the only UFO incident that I ever had in my life. Now, this is going back to when I was living in Ponte, so if I'm 49 now, we're looking at about 30, somewhere around there. And at the time, I wasn't interested in anything like this, right? I believed everything that I was told, just about. I had just started to look into history, but I'd not gotten into the megalithics anyway. So I was sat playing my PlayStation 3, I think it was, and it was 3 o'clock in the morning. And for some reason, I got this sudden urge to just go outside, and I tried throwing it off because I was playing the game. I didn't want to leave it. I was playing Medal of Honor 2010 online, so I didn't want to go outside. But for some reason, I decided to throw my handset on the floor. This is a quiet area that I lived at, so I walked outside, looked around, didn't see anything, hear anything. I turned around to go back into the house and I suppose you could say it looked something like a Chinese lantern, and it had just risen over one of the neighbours' houses over the road, about 4 houses down, over its roof. It was pretty large, but it was red, dark red at this point, and it just kept on rising as soon as it saw me, really. And then the higher that it got, it changed colour to like a bright red, orange, yellow, and as it got close to the clouds, it changed to white and then vanished. At that point, I thought my mind were playing tricks on me, or it was something like a Chinese lantern, although it didn't look like one, and it was too large. Anyway, I was just about to walk back in the house, and all of a sudden, I saw this giant, dark, circular object that appeared to be in two halves. I could see the stars down the centre of it, so it was in two halves, and this thing flew straight over my head directly. There were no lights on it, no sound, but this thing was very, very large. I'm talking about it would have been larger than a football field, yeah, if it had been down on the ground, but it was circular in two halves, like I say, and it just flew straight over my head, and I watched it fly off into the distance until it vanished. there are going to be about 3 or 4 videos that I'm going to share from the past. I will kind of update them slightly, and that's due to them being not eligible for being monetized anymore, because YouTube has decided that some of the tunes that they allowed about 2-3 years ago, that they don't allow them anymore to be monetized. So I am going to re-upload them. To say that the donations and super thanks has gone down tremendously over the last few months, so I have to do the monetization bit at least. Now, the ones on my other playlist, I'm not too bothered about. I kind of expected that, as you can see here, but my main playlist, I will reshare those